I'm a single woman, late 40s, living alone abroad, and what else? So many things in a relatively insulated, isolated state currently, phase of my life. And today was a hard day, and I thought about maybe I should find a constructive way to outlet, um, yeah, to kind of like get rid of things a little bit. This won't be a trauma dump or a venting or anything. I've processed internally, but today was just a hard day and I'm low on emotional like energy and things like this. And so I thought maybe I should turn this into a constructive outlet, creative outlet. And so I turned on the video to talk about the emotional cost of living alone abroad, especially when you're, like I said, single in your late 40s, away from family for like for an extended period of time. I'm not sure what that cost is. I think by the end of the video, hopefully, and hopefully I'll know what that cost is, or maybe I'll have some better idea of it. But I do know that, well, not know, but sometimes I have the impression that when things are difficult, it's a lot harder to process and sort through things because I've been making so many decisions about my life and the way I want by myself so many times repetitively over and over every single day, every single second, etc. And I talk about that it's such an amazing gift and opportunity to be able to do that, to create your life and design your life and to choose the type of life that you want to live. But I think today is one of the days where I'm, going through the downside or the trade off of that. And that is sometimes you're not able, or many times you're not able to share the burden because you are away from family or away from people or systems or support systems that understand in a very nuanced way how you express yourself, the way you express yourself, thoughts and things. Like, I have friends here, of course, sure, and lots with support. And if I'm in sad times, or if there are people that I can call on, which is great. And fortunately, I've been able to build a relatively good network like this. But living in a multicultural society, as in I'm of one culture and they're of another, and my friends are not all French, you know, it's sometimes there is a fatigue in having to translate everything or many things all the time. So I can just, chat some patois and just be like, patois, oh my God, but yeah. I can't just like let loose in my Jamaicanness fully. I can let loose in my being and who I am, etc. But sometimes I don't want to translate. And I think today is one of those days. And that can be a difficult thing to work through and to deal with. So I think that's one of the trade-offs or the emotional costs of living alone abroad. Not always having a nuanced enough support system where you can share the burden, especially if you're single. Yeah, you're living alone, so it implies being single. There is no other like partner or whatever to kind of like, okay, for you to just unload a little bit, like stop thinking and have somebody pick up a bit of the pieces that you just had to drop from your basket. And so the question comes in: how do you unload your basket of burden. But how do you unload your basket when it's overflowing a little bit? I don't know. Today I'm contemplating that. Today work wasn't great. I went to Pilates and that was great. I went back to Pilates. I took a break for a while. I went back to my Pilates class, saw my trainer, had some fun. She killed me because it's Pilates. Like you can have a grand time, but oh, you will have a grand time on those machines. Um, so that was, I was able to also like let out some steam and relax and stretch and like decompress for that hour. But yeah, today, I don't know, emotionally I'm just on a down. Um, a tiny mistake which was not even fully, well, it really wasn't it wasn't my fault to catch. Or it was my fault to catch, but it wasn't my like role exactly to catch. I don't know, somehow derailed the day a little bit, and I got stuck in this overthinking spiral of, and which led me to not react to solving the problem in the way that I wanted. And I think it was also not a big enough crisis for me to like really snap into like Diedre mode. But yeah, today was not. Hmm. And so here I am talking to you about the emotional cost of living alone abroad. How many times I'm gonna say that? I don't know. But here I am talking to you about it because I got home super late. It's almost midnight. Because I was just kind of like walking around. I also had back pains today because I've been just dealing with some chronic back pain for like a year now. Other boobies might be too much. But I still today was a relative good enough day, so I was able to walk around a bit, kind of like pause in one of the parks, even though it was overcast and it was raining a little bit, but I was still able to find a covered place. And so I got back really, really late. Too late, I think, to like call friends or stuff like this to like unwind a little bit. And so, what do I do in these times, and what am I about to do? I think I reach for things that are comforting, things that bring me solace on my own. And this is important. And I think this is one of the gifts of living abroad is that you tend to learn your preferences so you can understand well on days where you're not high energy or you're not feeling too social or you're just having like a bad day, like some of the things that comfort you and can bring you your own type of like support. So what do I do? Well, I have some lavender here, so sometimes I go and just kind of like sit beside it and sniff it a little bit just to calm my mind. I also have, because these lavender is kind of old, and I bought little lavender pouches that are like all over my house, my apartment. Hair strand. Spend too much time. So I have these nearby just to calm my nerves a little bit, just to bring some kind of like calming scents around the apartment. Always have some tea. I drank it earlier, so I'm not gonna show it here, but I drank some tea. And I'm going to blanket burrito. This is what I call. So I'm usually in some kind of like darkness to minimize, light sensitivity because I'm quite sensitive to light. So after this video, like the whole thing is just going to shut down. I'm going to have like one dim night light pretty much. And then I'm going to wrap in like two blankets to just give myself some weighted compression. And either I'm going to read like this or I'm going to watch like a show that mm, doesn't like require a lot of thinking. So meaning like I'm not going to watch a mystery where I have to like find the killer or something. And I'm not going to watch a thriller that's like too adrenaline pumping and just something that's calm and easy, fun, maybe slice of life, but not in some sort of like stress inducing way. Those are some of the things that I do. Um, Sometimes I emotionally snack, but today I avoided that. So even when I went to run errands, when I went to run my courses, oh my God, I was just about to say run my courses, which is literally French popping into my speech because you say faire les courses. In French, say you're going to do groceries, right? Anyway, so um yeah, so I did not do any snack runs at the supermarket. They had golden kiwis, but it was so expensive. Oh my God. €1, €1.20 a piece for golden kiwis. I was like, y'all need to chill a little bit. But I didn't want the tartiness of green kiwis. So, anyways, I think I just bought a banana. So yeah, this is what I do. And but the point I'm making is you have to find like when you're living alone, and especially when you're living alone abroad, it's important to understand what are your comforts that can help you to give support when your support system is not readily available or in reach. You know, there are time zone differences. Sometimes you just don't want to like have the conversation over the phone or something, or we're like, they're far away, you can't do anything. So I think it's that's one of the things. And it's important to, yeah, know what your comforts are and understand what those things are. There was a point that I'm just looking over and seeing my paintbrush. There was a point that maybe I should like get back into it where I used to paint my emotions. And at one point I started it as like a daily tasks, but it got a little bit too much, like daily just um yeah, it became more of like a demanding requirement to do it daily, to sit down and and so I expanded it to weekly. But weekly or daily, I would paint my emotions, and I think I might do that tonight. Is I would just get I have a painting pad and some acrylic paint, or what's it called, gouache paint, and I would just abstractly paint whatever comes. So I would just look at my paint palette and I would just choose the acrylic colors, the type of paint colors that just called to me at that point, and then I would just let my body mood control and dictate what would come out on the page. And I'm by no means any kind of like artist, right? I just throw paint on paper and it's for my mood. Sometimes it's like lots of reds. Sometimes I would have a nice uniform painting and then I just decided that I need to like throw something at it to like destroy it because I felt in that kind of like self-sabotage way. That was my mood. Yeah, so sometimes I do paint my emotions. It used to be my diary. And after painting, I would probably write a few phrases either about what I was feeling about the painting or um, some thought on something else. So that's also like one of the comfort things that I do. What do you do when you are in low energy, you're in like a low season of your life, or you're having like a bad day? But tell me. I'm curious. Maybe I can gain some new insights of how maybe I can learn something of like, oh, this sounds interesting. I could try this. Yeah. Back to the question. I'm trying to keep on topic. But I think I have, hold on. I do have some paintings here. You're probably going to see my couch that is overflowing with um overflowing with laundry. But wait. So this is one of the paintings that I've done based on my mood. It was actually, I did it at work. It was a Diwali celebration because we have a large group of Indians that work with us in Paris. And well, we celebrate different cultures monthly. And so because it was Diwali, we had a Diwali session. And so this was my mood and I painted this. And then I forgot the name, but they taught me how to decorate like little candle wick holders, or it's like oil. What is it? It's like an oil burning holder. I might be saying absolute rubbish, but yeah. So this is one. Normally you pour oil, like scented oil, and burn it. If I remember correctly, this is what you do. And then this one, which has gathered lots of dust on my island. This one actually, I painted it to represent my sari. So I lived in India for 6 months, ages ago, like maybe 12 years ago. I lived in India. I worked in India as well at this time. And so I also celebrated Diwali in India. I was there in Mangalore. And so my sari was this navy blue, black, and gold thing. I'll try to find a picture and put it up to show you. But yeah, so that became, for me, I was inspired. I remembered my sari and I painted this one that day. So yeah, I do a couple of paintings, like, again, no grand work of art, right? Well, yeah, this is yeah. This has been my most recent paintings. Ah. They kind of flow, right? Nice with the theme of gold throughout. I tried to maintain the theme of gold throughout, but yes. That day I was also having, it wasn't a bad day, but it was a stressful day. It was payroll, and while everybody was celebrating because I work in HR, I had to make sure that payroll was being sent over correctly to our agency. And so I had a bit of extra work to do that day to ensure that everybody got paid. And everybody did get paid and everything worked out. It wasn't like a bad day, but it was just a stressful, busy, hectic day. And so it was really great to be able to paint and calm down the senses. Yeah, so I think it's really important to just like really find what your hobby is. And you don't have to do this abroad, right? It's even in your home now. If you are someone who is living alone, on your own, or I think as an individual, you should find out what your preferences are and understand like how you like to be comforted, and what you do to comfort yourself and things like this, and find calming ways to decompress. Like I think that's a good way to battle, you know, being on your own. Another emotional cost, but I hope I'm not getting sick, but well, the emotional cost of being on your own is, I've said it so much, but decision fatigue, like, is a thing. And also missing out, dealing with the loneliness of missing out on things. Um, I think it's like on your return, or when you're talking to people or you're talking to your friends, then you realize, oh, I've missed key events. But also, it's not just only about you missing their key events, but it's also them missing yours because their life expenses, things like this, they might not be able to. They're not able to travel to you the same way that you're not able to travel to them. They might not be able to travel to you, and so they miss your key moments as well, and they're only able to watch it from a distance. So I think we like to talk about many times us missing the guilt or the sadness of missing out on key moments in our loved ones' lives. But I don't think we introspect enough to look at it the other way, and that there you do also deal with the disappointment of having people miss out on your life moments, having your loved ones miss out on your life moments when you're living alone abroad. And I think that's an emotional cost that we don't talk about too much. And it is really important. And I had to sit with it and come to terms with it that, yeah, I'm going to be disappointed. I will send invites or I will suggest things and they will just say no, they can't make it because it's expensive. They have other commitments. It's just too far away. It's just not within their schedule or their budget. And you just have to deal with the disappointment in that. It took me a while to come to terms with it. Oh, there is this quote, and I put it in my book as well. What is it? Wait, I'm trying to find the quote that really sums up, I think, the emotional cost of living abroad. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. Hold on. Yes, it's from Miriam Adene, and it says, "You will never be completely at home again because part of your heart will always be elsewhere. That is the price you pay for the richness of loving and knowing people in more than one place." I'm going to read that again. You will never be completely at home again because part of your heart will always be elsewhere. That is the price you pay for the richness of loving and knowing people in more than one place. And I think it's such a, I don't know if the word is conundrum, but it's a bittersweet um, summary of life abroad. It's so enriching. It's such a beautiful opportunity and act of meeting, knowing, and loving people in more than one place in so many different ways, with so many different layers of yourself, based on the culture, based on the friendship, based on your personality types, based on the phase at which you met them in your life, and things like this. It's such a rich, expansive experience. But then, because life can be so transient at times, is that you leave or they leave, or they were just here for a visit, or you move to a different country, or whatever. And it comes with this, yeah, it comes with a sort of like ache on my head. It comes with that ache and a yearning and saudade. I don't know if this is the word, but it comes with an ache and a yearning because you're not able, you, you, they take a part of you. And pieces of you are left in like different countries, in different cultures, and in different places. And it's, you gain a part of yourself because you discover new layers of yourself, but you also leave little traces in other places. And there is often like a little pull, like I don't know, some string, in Korean or East Asian culture, or many cultures, there's especially Korean, the red string of fate, where it just you're attached thing. I kind of like imagine it from the Korean. It reminds me of some of the Korean dramas that I watched, where yeah, you have this, you're connected by these lines of fate, strings of fate. because you met those connections, you met those soul connections, you love them, you knew them, you learned them in their own language, in their own culture. Language meaning like of who they are and how they communicate, etc. And then there's a breaking and that fracture sometimes. You just never really quite feel at home anywhere afterwards. And that is a trade-off. And I think that is one of the emotional costs of living abroad. Not necessarily like living alone. Like you can have this feeling even when you're partnered or your families are here. But I think living in multiple places, you will always have that kind of yearning. And there's a concept of, I don't know if I'm saying the word right, but for me, I pronounce it as saudade. Saudade pronunciation. I have to watch an ad. My God.
Today, I want to help you understand a very special Portuguese word. A word that the experts say has no direct translation. A word that if you ask a Portuguese person what it means, they will talk about it for hours.
Oh, what's the word?
I'm sure that by now you know I'm talking about saudade.
Saudade.
This word and
There
way
you go.
of being
I said it right. So saudade, it references like a feeling of longing and melancholy and nostalgia. That I don't know, it's that longing and yearning and a feeling of nostalgia for something or someone that is absent. And I don't know, I think a lot of living abroad, not a lot, but there's a part of living abroad that means dealing with that kind of like saudade. Yeah, I will put the meaning on the screen somewhere. I don't know if it's hard to translate into English, and I don't know if there's even like a patois word or something. No, it's just saudade. Anyways, I'm feeling a little bit lighter now. Thanks for this was nice to kind of like is my filler word. Kind of like filler word. But this was rather cathartic, and I'm in a better mood now, having been able to constructively place some of my thoughts and emotions package it into a constructive conversation with you. I hope you've learned one thing, at least one thing, and tell me what are some of the ways that you comfort yourself on your own. What are some of your comforts, or go-to solaces, or go-to comforts when you're feeling a bit down and out? Tell me in the comments. I'm Diedre, and I talk about life abroad, and I help women like you move abroad, solo travel, design your life abroad internationally with intentionality. I can't even say this word. But I'm Diedre, and I help women move abroad to design lives that they love because they deserve it. You deserve it. I help you to do this. Nice chatting, and see you in the next one. Ciao.